Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan and I appreciate you being here. Today's video I'm going to be running through my budget from October of 2025 and what November is going to be looking like. It's been a minute since I posted a video about anything, let alone my budget. There's been quite a few things that have changed in the last couple of months, but I will run you through it as I go through it. A little bit of background if you are new here. I am an American expat living in Dubai. I've been here for about 4 years. I work full-time in hospitality. I'm a salaried employee and I am here with my partner. So we split household expenses pretty much 50-50. I think that's all that's needed for context. Let's jump right into the spreadsheet. Okay, you can see that my planned monthly income over here is 17,000 dirhams. That is my monthly salary that I am paid from my full-time job. And my total budgeted expenses was also 17,000 dirhams. You can see it's a little bit of a spoiler that I actually was able to come in a little bit higher, so 19,800 dirhams is what I brought in, but that's also a bit deceptive because I pulled 325 from my car sinking fund, plus I pulled 1,250 from my splurge fund. All right, so over here to expenses, I had budgeted 3,542 dirhams for my rent. That is something that has gone up a little bit in the last couple of months. I actually renewed my housing lease in this month, in October, so that is up a little bit. What I set aside for that was actually 3,550, which is a little bit more, but I needed a little bit more. So that's what I set aside. DWA, that is water and electricity. I budgeted 250. It was actually 259, so I was a little over budget there. Internet is 230 per person. Like I said, this is my half of these expenses, so that is what I pay per month. Gas for the home is 50 dirhams is what I budgeted. It's 49.69. Chiller, I budgeted 170. That came in at 150.43, so a little bit under budget there. My car payment, I left this line item in there because I wasn't sure what was going to happen at the beginning of the month. But what did end up happening is I was able to use the money I received at the end of September to pay off my car at the beginning of October before the car payment was due. So there was no actual car payment. I just used the money to pay it off altogether. So no car payment, which was awesome. And for gas, I budgeted 270. That is enough for me to fill up 3 times in a month. I only had to fill up twice, so it was 180 dirhams this month. Car tolls and extras, I budgeted 380. I was way over budget here because of a couple of things. I spent 783, which is 403 dirhams over budget. My battery died, so I had to pay for a new battery. That was 325 that I pulled from the sinking fund. And then the other overage, I think, is just a little extra on tolls. I needed to top up again. I needed to top up more often than I normally do in a month. Grocery and toiletry, I was also over. I had budgeted 1,100 and I spent 1,281. It feels like a lot because it's a big number, 180 dirhams over, but in actuality, it's not that much and it's something that's really easy to spend. So yeah, not worried about that. Jasper, that's our cat. I budgeted 120. He came in at 136. This is another expense that my partner and I split. A little bit over, not a big deal there either. 16 dirhams is like less than $5, so not a big deal. Health, this is something that has changed since the last time I uploaded a budget video. I budgeted 2,000 dirhams here. This is for Invisalign. I've been doing that for the last couple of months. This is the last time that I have to make this payment. It's been on a monthly finance plan, 2,000 dirhams a month. So that is exactly what I paid. October was a very expensive month. That is one of the reasons why. The next one is also a contributing factor to it. It's that rent renewal. Like I said, I renewed my lease for the house in October. There's an administrative fee for actually renewing the lease. That's 1,050 dirhams. And then there's also Ejari, which is basically registering it with the government here in Dubai. So it was 1,050 plus 220 for the Ejari, divided by myself and my partner. So it was 635 total for myself. My phone is also something that I don't pay every single month. I pay this every 6 months, and that comes out in October as well. I budgeted 525, and it was 524.79. So yeah, a pretty expensive month in October, pretty atypical, and I'm hoping next month will go kind of back to normal. All right, moving on from fixed expenses down to fun expenses. For restaurants, I had budgeted 250. I only spent 89. And to be honest, I don't think this was actually any sit down restaurants. I think it's just like a coffee, and I had a smoothie at one point. So we didn't do much in October, kind of to alleviate the pain of all of the big expenses that were coming out. Delivery, I had budgeted $200. I do like to keep these separate because it's a different kind of lifestyle choice. So I budgeted $200. I actually spent $136.45. So I was under budget there as well. That's pretty good. Personal miscellaneous, I had budgeted $500. I wasn't really planning on spending very much this month. But towards the end of the month, I decided I wanted to buy myself a tablet. So in actuality, I spent $2,162, which is obviously way over. This is where the $1,250 comes from my splurge fund. So I pulled that to help cover the expense. Netflix, I had budgeted $45. I think I knew it went up before the beginning of the month, but I forgot to adjust it in my budget, so it was actually $51.92. Gym ClassPass, I went from using it pretty often and spending 309 dirhams per month on it to reducing it because I haven't been using it as much, and now I'm spending $199. The home, I budgeted 50 dirhams. I spent 68. I think this was mostly on opening the balcony for the season, so fixing up the plants, you know, sorting out the cushions and all of that outside. And miscellaneous, I had budgeted 48. I ended up spending 62.98. This is a couple of extra subscriptions that I added throughout the month. I haven't really divided them out into line items, and I'm not sure if I will yet or not. So for this month, they ended up just going into my miscellaneous fund. Again, 15 dirhams over, I'm not too worried about that. For the emergency fund, so yeah, heading into the future and fun and savings portion of the budget. For the emergency fund, I had budgeted 500 dirhams for October. I'm trying to get to 70,000 dirhams by the end of the year. Because I earn interest in this account, it was a bit more. So I put 500 myself, and it was 684 in total. So this is the amount that is sitting there now, 68,691 dirhams. To the US accounts, I sent $1,000, which is annotated there. I budgeted 3,736. It was actually just a little bit more, 3,740 and 50 fils. And you can see up here, this is what I did with that money. I put $700 towards my Roth IRA. $10 just stayed in my Bank of America checking account as part of my buffer. And I put $275, it says towards vacation fund, but it was actually towards a credit card balance that I had from vacation in September. In total, that is $985. The remaining $15 that's not been accounted for is for a wire fee that I pay in order to send the money home. Towards the sabbatical, I had budgeted 1,500. I was only able to put aside 1,157. So that is because of the tablet and just the general expensive month. Yeah, disappointing that I didn't put away as much as I had planned, but moving forward, this should be a higher number. So far right now, I have 6,103 dirhams set aside for a sabbatical. The car fund, so this one I had budgeted to put 250 set aside. I did actually put 250 into this account, but because of me withdrawing money from it, this account is actually sitting at less than that amount. So it's only sitting at 126, and from here on out, I'll start adding money back to it again. Fund or splurge fund, I use those two interchangeably. I budgeted 250. I had a little bit of extra cash at the end of September that I put towards this, so I put 500 there. After the 1,250 that I pulled out, I have 823.50 set aside in that account. And gifts fund, I budgeted 200. It was actually 202.67 with the interest that accrued in that account, so I have 1,111 set aside for Christmas so far this year. As you can see, the exact amount that I had budgeted was 17,000. What I ended up spending or setting aside was 19,091.56. And scrolling back up to the top here, the income amount was 19,800, including what I pulled from my savings. And the expenses amount was 19,091, which left me with a net of 700 dirhams. And that is because I had 440 in cash, and I let 300 of that go back into my checking account buffer. Yeah, and that was October in a nutshell. It was an expensive month, but I was prepared for it. I knew what was going to be happening. And that's kind of the beauty of budgeting, is when things come up, you're prepared for it. And the beauty of sinking funds as well. It was nice to not have to pull that 325 for my car battery from any other category, because I had that money sitting aside in a sinking fund. Okay, moving into November. I'm filming this kind of in the beginning of November, a few days into it already, so there are some expenses that have already been put in here. But you can see how I've budgeted things. I've decided to do a little bit more in my rent. So $3,550 is what I will set aside. It's a little bit more than what I need, but I'd prefer to have a little bit more and a nice round number anyways. DIWA, water and electricity, I've budgeted $250. That's pretty standard each month, so that's pretty much what I'm expecting. Internet is $230 per person each month. Same with gas for the home, that's a standard amount, 50 dirhams. Chiller, I budgeted 150. Car gas, I am anticipating having to fill up 3 times this month, so I've budgeted 270. Car tools and extras, I budgeted 380 again. This has been working for me for most typical months. Grocery budget, I did go up a little bit more, so I went to 1,200 because I was over last month. Jasper stayed at 120. And health, like I said, I don't have to pay for the Invisalign again this month. Last month was the last month for a payment. However, I do have to do like my final appointment with them. So if there's anything to pay there, at least I have 300 dirhams set aside and we can kind of go from there. Moving down into fun. Restaurants, I have 800 dirhams budgeted. I think we want to do a pool day this month, so I want to make sure I have enough money set aside for that. Delivery, I kept the same at 200 dirhams because that worked for me last month. Personal miscellaneous, I have 500 set aside. Yeah, with having bought the tablet already last month, I'm not really planning on spending that much. There are a few things I need to order for myself, but nothing extravagant and nothing really that expensive, so I think I should be able to stay within this 500. Netflix, I did update to 50 dirhams, should be somewhere around that. ClassPass, I left at 199. For the home, I budgeted 150. I am out of candles, so I need to top up on those. That will be an expense in that category this month. Miscellaneous is 65. I haven't updated the subscriptions that I've added. I haven't added them in like line items, so that will probably just end up going in that category again this month, which is fine. Emergency fund, I've budgeted 250, or sorry, I've budgeted 750. That will get me close to my 70,000 goal for the end of the year. I think I'll be able to hit that, no problem. US accounts, I kept the same as well. That is $1,000, 37.36. Sabbatical, I'm aiming to put away 3,000 dirhams this month. It's been a long time since I've been able to put that much set aside for this goal, so I would really like to see that number and hit that number. For the car fund, I am putting aside 250 every month. Fun, I'm putting away 200 this month. And gifts, I am putting away 600 this month, which as you can see is a total of 17,000, which is exactly what my salary is. Additional income this month, I will have interest that accrues in my accounts. I'm not expecting a bonus from work. So yeah, it should just be my salary and my interest. That's all I'm really expecting for this month. But this is back to kind of a normal standard month. Things are kind of settling back into normal before the holidays, and yeah, hoping to have a very good savings month and put quite a bit aside before the end of the year. Okay, that's it for this month's budget recap. I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope that was interesting to see how someone spends and budgets their money in Dubai. If you have any questions about rental renewals or how anything works in Dubai, I'd be happy to answer any questions down in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.